Hey everybody, Jeff Gagne, welcome back, Succelsior TV, episode 10. Today is my story. Who am I? Where did I come from? Why did I create Succelsior? And why am I talking to you about it? I'm 39 now, born in 73, and when I was going through high school, I was a straight A student, but didn't know what I wanted to do for college, so I followed along with my brother. He went to a community college where my dad worked and studied accounting, so that's what I did. Uh, enjoyed college a little bit too much, didn't study much, didn't get great grades first year, actually had to save myself and save my GPA to be able to graduate my second year from a community college after being a straight A student from kindergarten through senior year of high school, and started, as soon as I got to college, found some magical things on the walls. They were credit card applications. Almost every single one of my college classes had a bulletin board that had student credit card applications. Basically, it wasn't even an application. It was you sign your name. This is your name. This is how I want it printed on the card. You sign it, say you'll pay it off eventually. And they send you the card. There was really no turning you down. So I started digging myself a hole. Realized I was dumb. I was book smart, but I was just common sense dumb as a box of rocks. And nobody ever taught me about money. I didn't know what I was doing. So started using credit cards, started piling up debt. Finished my first 2 years, got an associate's degree in accounting at a community college. Like I said, didn't want to do accounting. Didn't want to get a job yet. Didn't want to go on to my 4-year degree. Decided I was going to take a break from college. So ended up getting a job, working some of my jobs that I was already working part-time. I just switched it all to full-time. I was working at 2 different nursing homes and a trucking company, late nights loading and unloading 18-wheelers. So I worked for more than a year, working about 18-hour days, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., and then about 9 to in between midnight and 1 a.m. Throughout the course of the week. Made a lot of money. Did that, blew all that money, obviously wasn't responsible, didn't save it, wasn't paying off those credit cards because you didn't have to. There was a $10 minimum payment, so they got $10. That's how it happened. Blew all that money. Some of it was moving out during that year. Moved out of my parents' house. It was actually my dad's house at this point. Going all the way back real quick, my family grew up. I have 2 older brothers, mom and dad. We grew up in 4-room apartments. If you know what a 3-decker is, kudos to you. Grew up in a 3-decker in an apartment. 4 rooms is a kitchen, a living room, our bedroom, and our parents' bedroom, and a bathroom, and that's it. It was about 600 square feet, and that's how we grew up. But that's what it was. That's what it was. Didn't envy I envied some of my friends, but I had friends that had more money, had friends that had less money. So it was just how we grew up. Was it? That's just who we were. Getting back to college, took about 18 months off. During that 18 months off, in between community college and a 4-year program. While I was doing all that work, moved out of my dad's house into a townhouse with my brother. Thought I was fantastic because I was probably about 21. I was out on my own, even though I would not have been on my own had I not lived with my brother Eric. Eric, I owe you one. You saved me during that time. During that year and a half off, I paid my bills. We paid rent, bought stuff for the house, did all that. Decided I couldn't keep working those menial jobs, not doing anything. I had to get back to school. I was dying. 18 hours a day was killing me. Had to get back to school. Was passionate about college again. So got myself into my 4-year school. Guess what? Exactly where my brother went. Again, no direction of my own, no plans of my own. Finished my 4-year accounting degree because accounting was a good career, and that's what my older brother did. So that's what I followed along with. So I was behind him, obviously. He was older, but went back to school with a passion. Left those jobs, threw myself back into college. Was living on whatever money I had, as well as a late night cleaning job that I did, cleaning hotels and restaurants. Only paid me about $150 a week. So once my actual money was gone from when I was working, hey, guess what? The walls of all my college classes had more credit card applications. Probably the dumbest company on the planet at the time was First USA Bank. They actually gave me a $5,000 credit limit gold card. Have no idea why. I had no income at this point, and just crazy. So I was racking up debt. I was paying for living expenses off of credit cards. Wasn't bringing in income and was just enjoying college because I thought that's what I should do in my early 20s. I should be enjoying life. And I wasn't worried about the future. I wasn't making any plans. I wasn't saving, wasn't doing any of that. Even though I knew I had no direction, no plan, because I didn't want to finish a four-year degree in accounting and then go use it. So I had no idea what I was going to do. I just knew I was supposed to be happy, so that's what I did. And credit cards sure helped out with that. Maxed out all my credit cards, dug myself such a deep hole with all my credit cards, personal loans from family and friends, and everything of the sort that I actually could not dig my hole any deeper. No one would give me any money, whether it be person or credit card or bank. And God bless them, they were right and didn't know what to do. But about the time I was 21, right around my junior year of college-ish, God paid my credit card. I will tell you about that one in a different episode. And an opportunity opened up for me to pay for a very expensive trip to go study abroad in England and study Shakespeare with my class and my favorite professor. Yeah, studying Shakespeare as an accounting major. Yeah, I wanted to double major. That didn't happen. But ended up blowing all that money. When I came back to my gold card that had a $5,000 limit. Came back to a bill that was over $7,700. Like I said, I'll tell you about that one in a different episode when we start talking a lot more about money and financial empowerment. So by the time I was getting ready to graduate, I'm into my senior year, getting ready to graduate, the only experience that I had that I knew I wanted to move forward with was that trip. My eyes opened up, got to go to Europe, got to go to England and France. It was the first time I had really left home. And I realized there was a whole world outside of Worcester and Massachusetts and wanted to get out there, wanted to see it, didn't know how I was going to do it. Ended up going with a buddy for him to visit the Air Force officer recruiter. Well, he didn't end up joining, but I kind of got lured in. It seemed like a good option. It'd get me out, it would get me paid, it would yada, yada, yada. As well as my brothers and my dad were telling me, hey, you need some direction, you kind of need... We're done taking care of you, and you're not ready to do it on your own. You need to get out there and go do this. So I applied, thought I was going to be a shoo-in. I was a nerd. I was an accounting major. I blah, blah, blah. And I thought I was awesome. Who doesn't, when they're 22? Yeah, got the most humbling letter I've ever gotten. Air Force officer recruiter had to give me a letter, call me up, say, Jeff, come down to my office. What is it? Come down to my office, I'll tell you all about it. I thought I was in. He was going to tell me, give me details, blah, blah, blah. The Air Force told me, get this, the Air Force told me because I had so much personal debt, so many maxed out credit cards, that I was not a good bet. That I was not a responsible enough human being as an adult that the Air Force did not want to make me an officer. I would not represent them well. Talk about humbling. So when your package goes up for Air Force OTS, you get rejected twice because it automatically gets resubmitted regardless. So I got rejected twice. Got rejected twice more when I resubmitted 6 months later. So I'd already been turned down 4 times. Thank God, Staff Sergeant Sean Garrett, the enlisted recruiter, talked some sense into my thick skull and said, go ahead and enlist, spend 2 years enlisted, and then reapply. They will look at that much better. So that's what I ended up doing. Left, enlisted in the Air Force. Decided, in between this time, I had caught a Tony Robbins infomercial. I was coming home at 2 in the morning after my jobs. I would see Tony on TV. Tony, if you end up ever seeing this, thank you very much for that one infomercial. I videotaped it just so I could watch it over and over. Everybody in that infomercial had turned their life around. They were broke. They were miserable. They had no direction. Sounded real familiar for me. But they got Tony's program. They learned what he was teaching, and then they put that stuff into application, and they turned their lives around, and that's what I wanted. So what I figured out was I didn't have the one line in his infomercial that punched me in the face every time I watched it was, if you can't afford to get my program to learn what I'm teaching, you need to get my program to learn what I'm teaching. And that just killed me. But then it finally clicked that I could go learn what he was teaching at the public library for free. And that book right there is one of Tony Robbins' books. and it helped me turn my life around. So I enlisted in the Air Force. They sent me to Cheyenne, Wyoming, where there is nothing to do for a city boy out in the country. There was nothing for me to do, so I decided I was going to focus. I was going to pay off my debt on my $13,013 a year salary. I lived in a dorm room. I ate at a chow hall 3 times a day. I shared a bathroom. I did nothing. All I did was read books from the library and watch videos I got from the library. I didn't spend any money at all. It all went to my debt. Within 2 years, I was almost there. Within 3 years, I had paid off all my debt. Along the way, I had reapplied to Air Force Officer Training School, got turned down a 5th time, finally got picked up on time number 6. So I was finally on my way, became an officer in the Air Force, loved that for a while, but then the uniform wasn't for me, so I decided to move on from that. Got myself a civilian job, which a lot of men and women in the Air Force and all the uniformed services, when you're ready to get out of uniform, you're hoping to switch over and get a civilian job, do basically the same thing, just wearing a shirt and tie and just kind of keep that career rolling. About a year after I thought I was on that path and I thought it was great. About a year after I got that job, I started looking at, I loved it for a while and it was exactly what I wanted. However, it wasn't exactly what I wanted. It was exactly what I went for, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted. I wanted to make an impact on the world. I wanted to help people out, and that job wasn't doing that for me. So about a year after I got to that civilian job, I looked at the people that were 5, 10, 15, 20 years in front of me in that career and decided I did not want to be those guys, so I needed to make a plan. So I made myself a 3-year plan whereby from that date, 3 years hence, I was going to save enough money, I was going to make a plan to get my business started, to do something else, to make the impact on the world that I wanted to make. A few hiccups and wrinkles happened. I'll tell you those in future episodes, but that's how it happened. And the whole point of this episode is if I can go from lower middle class, being raised in a 600 square foot 4-room apartment, if I can go from that to owning multiple houses and having more than enough of my savings, having my family taken care of, to having the career I want, I drive the exact car I want, I live in the exact house I want. My wife is amazing. I can't believe I have her as a wife. My daughter is amazing. I have fantastic friends. I get to coach kids in a sport that I love. I have a life that I truly love each and every single day. And part of it, and the biggest part of it now, is sharing that with you, to share with you that if you take the right steps, if you learn what you need to learn, take the right steps, you can make the exact changes that I made. You can change your story from wherever it's heading right now to where you want it to head. You absolutely can do that. And I and Succelsior are here to help you do that. Your dreams are our mission. That's what this show's about. That's what my business is about. That's what I want for you. I did it. There are plenty of other stories out there of people who did it. Tony Robbins did it. There are plenty of other stories out there of people who did it. Your dreams are exactly why you're here. Whatever you're passionate about is exactly what you should be out there doing. But we all get caught up in life. We start out in that river of life, and if we don't find some way of getting whacked in the head, of realizing that somebody could throw you a couple of oars and you could start rowing, to start giving yourself direction on that river of life. Hey, maybe I want to go down this way, or maybe I want to go this way, instead of heading straight and going over Niagara Falls in a barrel. If we aren't told that stuff, we don't know, and years go by. Years. Before you know it, it's 2013 already. I mean, you guys remember where you were when the millennium changed? 13 years went by in a blink. 2020 is going to be here in no time. 2020 is what science fiction books when I was a kid was talking about, and that was forever in the future. 2020 is going to be here in no time. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. Well, I'll tell you what, the best time is right now, because we don't get to go back 20 years. I don't have the Back to the Future DeLorean, so I can go back 20 years ago and plant the tree so it's big out in my yard. So I have to do it today. You've got to do it today. You have got to get started. Do the exercises. Do the Dream Day exercise. Go back and start making that plan, even if it's just a shell and an outline of what it would look like for you to plan as if you're going to live forever. and do the dream day exercises to know what things you want to put into your life, that you must put into your life, as if you were only had 24 hours left to live. And then we build a plan together and we keep moving you forward day by day, so that when 2020 comes, your story is a whole lot different than it would have been had you not grabbed those oars and decided to direct your own life. I'm Jeff Gagne. This is Succelsior TV. I'll see you next time. Your dreams really are our mission.